Hey, welcome back, everybody. Time once again for one of our OC Spotlights. The one show, maybe the only show, that shows you the most incredible people doing the most amazing things right here in our own backyard. And today, well, this is one for me heart right here. An old Irishman brought in a bartender. We're gonna learn about the world of craft cocktails and even mocktails and that whole world of making drinks here. Can one of you just slide the camera? I just see it just slightly out of focus here. I need it over just a bit towards him, towards Robert there. Much better. Okay, there. We're trying to, the other way. Just, can you slide it the other way without me walking? Just back the other way a little bit there. A little more. No, the other way. The other way. The other way. There you go, like that. Perfect. All right, now we'll bring him in and we'll show everybody the world that we're talking about in our studio. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have Robert Spence and Janelle, and I'm going to let her say her last name because I'm going to screw it up here otherwise. Welcome, guys, to the show. Robert Spence is the owner of SoCal Bartender, no plural, but there's plural people in the room. Janelle's last name is?
Schellin.
Schellin. How do you spell that?
Schellin.
That's not how you say it. It must be a different pronunciation.
I mean, it's not my name. I got married into it.
Okay, so she can't make excuses.
No, my maiden name's worse. So.
What was your maiden name?
It's Iomo, Ioimo.
And what nationality is that?
That is Italian. It's like completely vowels.
Good Irish name. All vowels. All right. Well, we're going to talk about backgrounds and booze and a million other things here today because all of this is a fascination to me here, and hopefully you'll be as fascinated as we are with this thing. Let's start with Robert. Robert, why are you running a SoCal Bartender? Why aren't you a computer scientist or whatever your mom wanted you to be, a doctor or something, a lawyer?
Well, Paul, the long and short of it is, and by the way, thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure.
Go back to do a real quick backstory on how we got started many years ago.
Because you said you're from Wisconsin, or you studied in Wisconsin.
Yes.
At Marquette or someplace?
Yes, I did my undergraduate work at Marquette. I was able to run fast, so I got to go there.
Great school. Full disclosure, my dad was in executive crisis, so we moved all over the Midwest, but mostly Michigan, Detroit. That's where I went to the University of Michigan. And somebody hit the camera again here. What happened? Can you just bump it back again here? No. All right. Well, while he's working on the cameras there, I lived in Milwaukee, and so Marquette's obviously in downtown Milwaukee.
Yes, it is.
I went to like third or fourth grade. And not his camera, the other one up above it. We're trying to move back the other way. Perfect. There. We want to get everybody in here. A little more. Keep it right there. Okay. Try not to. We have guests in the room, and they're bumping our cameras here. So sorry.
Not the phone.
Get a full house, folks.
Right, a full house. Everybody's here because we're going to taste drinks. We're actually going to make some drinks at the end, folks. So stick with us. It isn't just a story today. We're gonna taste along here and tell you about how to make some drinks, what's hot, and show you how to make them here. So, all right, back to Robert and his story. Somehow you're at the university because you going to win a scholarship there or something?
Yeah, I could run fast, so that kind of helped. But many years later, I'm
a good Catholic, so it's a good Catholic university.
Good Catholic Jesuit university.
There you go.
But many years later, I was when I finished school, my undergraduate work was in political science and finance.
Perfect combination for bartending.
That's right. All those calculations and ratios and viscosity levels and things. But yeah, so I went into I became a stockbroker back then.
Of course.
I was a much younger man back then, and made a lot of money, and but I didn't like what I was doing. I won't knock my former industry, so I'm careful about that. But I didn't, there
no passion.
You had to gamble other people's life savings in a way that I was not comfortable with. And
boy, I've had a couple of them gamble my life savings away in the Great Recession and a few other places. Try this, put it into this. Oh, sorry, it didn't work.
That's so scary.
Yes. So in the right after it was right towards the turn of the century in the late 90s, going into 2000 with the .com bubble and all that.
Right.
And any stockbroker that was worth his salt made a lot of money back then.
Right.
And then, but when everything collapsed, I just felt so empty that people had trusted in me to secure their future, and I was not able to do so.
Good for you, because I really did lose a bunch of money, and my stockbroker, who I did trust, and I told him, how am I going to make all this back? And he shrugged. He said, well, you got time. I said, what a callous answer. Next. Sorry, I did my best, and you lost.
Exactly. So I said I wanted to build and create something rather than do that anymore.
Right.
So I figured out, I tried a couple different sales jobs, things like that, and then I stumbled into a company that did actually a mobile casino bartending business, and I went to work for them for a little while.
The mobile casino business is bigger than I think it is. The idea that you were going to bring a crap table or a roulette wheel and all this stuff, and we're going to gamble for fake money, and then you win prizes or something at the end for charity or for a party or something here.
Yep. So long story short, I started my own company in 2000 in April coming up. It'll be 19 years soon. April 28th. 2006 was our first day. We did real well. We did 6 figures our first year, continued to grow from there.
You did 6 figures your first year? You say that so casually? Just running with people think this is a side hustle, a side gig?
Well, all these years in finance paid off. But
yeah, wow.
So when we started that was when it was different.
I'm really listening now. Okay, all right.
Back then, the internet was newer, and people didn't understand how to advertise there with Google AdWords and things
Clearly,
like that. And we were one of the first ones, the leading edge, to do that. And then when we were doing our advertising, we also got a lot of responses for related businesses such as catering, weddings, photography,
Makes sense.
DJs, and
Because I want to throw a party, I want all these things. Yeah.
right. We didn't. Our marketing did well, but it was broadly based. So those kind of.
And was
leads
this
went-
mostly individual parties, or were these corporate events, or a mixture?
all sorts of things, everything. And then so we would just simply barter those leads out to reliable vendors that we knew could fulfill the client's
Makes
needs.
sense, right.
But the one that was most closely aligned to what we actually did was bartending and beverage service. So we said, okay, since we're doing this, we can get twice the business with the same amount of lead. I'm getting 2 leads from
2 services from 1 lead.
Yes, sir. So that's how the bartending got started.
I'm selling you my business, and we're going to go into your business. I'll swap here. I get one thing. I produce podcasts and content here. Yeah, and you're producing multiple things. What a great idea. All right, so from that amazing story, how did you meet the amazing Janelle?
Okay. Well,
Or how did you get here? Let's start with Janelle. How did you said your parents actually owned a bar, or still own a bar? Or something?
Yeah, no, my in-laws own a bar in Chino Hills, so that's where I learned bartend.
What bar? We'll give them a shout out.
Oh
What
yeah.
bar?
Oh, so go check out Chino Hills Brewing Company. It's right outside the Brea Canyon. It's
How
it's
cool
a
is
really
that?
cool sports bar. Basically, they're big football people, so they're like, we need a bar with like
So tell
tons
them,
of TVs.
in the late 90s, I owned a bar called Kelly McHugh's, and the first one we built 2 of them. The first one was in Chino, off of Philadelphia.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
it's
where
now
I'm from.
It's now called Kelly's, I think.
Oh,
We sold
yeah,
it.
I've been there. Yes.
That was mine.
That's
And
so cool.
I made him take down Kelly McHugh's because I owned that name, so they changed it
Holy
to
smoke.
Kelly's.
That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. Wow.
Small world.
Yeah,
All right.
Totally.
All right, so we've all got some background around this business here. What's the business look like today? Because I'll tell you just my experience. I'm older than you guys. Probably together I'm what you guys are.
No.
And thank you. You can come back. I'm in my late 60s, and I opened this bar with a bunch of buddies thinking it would be fun in Chino. And it's just like, I can't remember the exact year, but it had to be like the early 90s or something here. And we'd just gone through, I graduated in the 70s, and we had all these, drinking was all about getting drunk. And then the 80s was all these wacky things, I won't say all the names because they're all sexual, sex on the beach kind of stuff and everything here. Or other drinks we know of, but I'm not going to say them with a lady present here. But you'd order and everybody'd say, oh, you were getting that. Anyway, but it was all about booze, and a lot of it. And the red onions were popular and all that kind of stuff, getting people drunk, rolling them out the door. And then along came DUIs and all this other stuff. The world changed. The city didn't want it. Customers put up with it. Aging baby boomers like me didn't want to drink as much. I can't handle it. I don't want to do it. So all this started to slow down, and that's where we saw the emergence of what we'll call craft cocktails, craft beers. Your parents own a microbrewery, or we sell lots of microbrewed beers. We were at the pioneer. We were at the front end of that because 99% of the customers just wanted Bud, Coors, Miller Lite, and a shot of something.
Right.
It was not real. You didn't have to have a lot of choices or a lot of things. It was a volume-based business, and you tried to crank it out. Suddenly, we're bringing back drinks that take some time to make. There's a show, and we're charging $15 or $20 for these things, not $2 or $3. So our whole model was built on that of making more, selling less. The cities loved it, our customers loved it, and we didn't have fights and problems, and they didn't grab the girl's butt, and they didn't fight each other and throw up all over the place and have a DUI on the way out. So it was a very sustainable business. Now there are tons of business like that where they have 50 types of tequilas, 50 beers, 50, and all these return of drinks from my parents' era of the 50s and 60s, like you're going to talk about today, old fashions, Manhattans, these craft cocktails, the Rat Pack kind of cocktails that I heard about, the stingers and all that stuff. And anyway, all that stuff. So we'll go into what's it. That's my quick take of the business. Is it like that? Are people drinking less but drinking better and different, or they still just want to get blasted? And depends, I suppose, the age.
Well, it's definitely better and different. It's a wide spectrum now than in today's current environment, particularly in Southern California in 2025. There are some younger parties and younger groups, things like that, where the alcohol is important, and you get a little.
They're
bit
doing
of that.
shots, and they don't care really what it tastes like. But let's all line up and let's do shots and stuff here.
Yeah, but there's also a very large contingent of more sophisticated drinkers and more mature drinkers that.
And is that because, like what I said, they're older, they're drinking less, so I want it to taste more. I don't want to just have the effect. I really want it to taste like something. When I was 20, I didn't care. I wanted the effect. We're just slamming them down. And in the bar, there was always a split between the people who wanted Jägermeister and just do shots like that. Does anybody even sell Jägermeister anymore here? Or Goldschlager?
I hope not. Too many fights.
But that was every bar, and the Goldschlager girls, the Jäger girls would come through and just, sell tons of these shots of things. And then that went away, and now I'm only going to have a couple of cocktails, so I wanted something really creative, something different. And it might be a classic cocktail, or it might be a revised version of something I've never seen before. I see that all the time. 15 ingredients, and I can't even imagine what that'll taste like. Smoke this, and a little bit of chives, and some other crazy thing, and a pimento or something, and these Italian, what are they, Amaros and stuff, all these little flavors they put in it and everything.
Yeah, the liqueurs, amarettos.
Right. All right, so all that's I'm still kind of with it. All right, so it's kind of slowed down in terms of volume, but it's expanded greatly in terms of the repertoire. So your bartender's got to know a lot. They can't just go in the back and Google and say, how do you make a Mai Tai?
Right, no.
No, we hire true mixologists such as Janelle. She's one of our senior instructors and a senior mixologist with multiple certifications. And
do you have to train, Janelle? Because you get a guy, so I know bartending, and they come in, but they have a limited repertoire they make.
We find out real quick if they do.
Right. When Robert and I talked on the phone for the first time, he asked me how to make multiple drinks, and I think based off his reaction, he wasn't expecting me to answer so detailed. He was like, "Oh,
young,
nice.
You're a girl.
Yeah.
You're just gonna make a handful of drinks, and here, honey, just drink this." Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. So it's which is fair. You don't want. I don't know. That's not something.
Aren't there contests now and everything? I don't know if there are in Southern California, but where they're bartender there are most of the restaurants I go to, the fancier, cooler places around Southern California and Orange County. More and more have a real bar manager, somebody who really does make drinks and comes up with imaginative cocktails. And then if you like that, you can only find it here, so you got to come back.
That's right. That's getting to the point where if it's a high level restaurant, that's the minimum requirement. Whoever the beverage manager has got to have years of seasoned experience, and it has to be a true mixologist, not just on paper, but be able to make some amazing drinks.
And not just for show. I mean, it really did. We found a couple at Keller McHugh's. We used to have a couple of drinks we made that nobody made, and some Irish-themed types of things. And people liked it, and they would come back and order those over and over again. High markup items, real specialty stuff you couldn't get anywhere, and that was our signature cocktails. I think that's
awesome. That's what brings people back.
Yeah.
And you stand out, you're remembered. That's what it's all about.
I think so. Okay. So how's this business going then? Do you still do both? Do you still do the casino nights and the alcohol, or is one morphed into the other?
No, our company still does both. We do a lot of volume with the bartending. That's an evergreen business that continues on. The others, the casino side, for example, in the early 2000s and the 2010s, poker was really big in Southern California,
huge,
Texas Hold'em poker. That's not the case today. We still do a lot of activity with our corporate events and private parties, birthdays, etc. But our bread and butter in today's world is mixology and bartending. We found the right niche, and we're very pleased with where we're at.
It's extremely dynamic.
So let's talk about the dynamics of doing it. I hire you for a party or for my corporate party here. Do I just say, come over and make anything, or do I come up with a menu and then you come up with a supply list?
Okay, I'll answer that one, and I'll let Janelle chime in also. For a corporate event, it's usually one of about three things. It's either a grand opening event of some sort, a open house. We do a lot of those, or some sort of panel discussion where they're presenting something or
Yes.
a brand launch.
And
or
afterwards, there's like a
yes.
a meet and greet, hangout, and there's
Yes,
cocktails.
cocktail hour,
Right.
or it's a corporate holiday party. So in each of those situations, we again, when we take on a client, we give a professional approach. Again, we're a corporation, we're not a mom and pop,
Yeah.
but we give a mom and pop feel,
Right.
meaning we speak to them, we hear what their brand is, what their theme is, what the setting is, and then what their concerns may or may not be, and then we develop a drink menu, just like you have a food menu, we have a drink menu, and we develop that.
So they
drink
may
menu.
only offer certain, particularly cocktail. Open bar is a frightening thing for everybody here. Because one, you don't know what they're going to order. Two, you don't know what it's going to cost. How do you cost it out? And three, I don't know. It's just a wide open door to a lot of problems. So do they limit it? We're going to make these 6 drinks. More and more I go and they say on the menu today we have a certain couple of wines, a couple of beers, and then we'll make a certain couple of cocktails.
It generally depends on what the client wants to do and how big the company is, and how many guests there are. Ordinarily, we start with what are the particular liquors that you want to serve, and from there we know what mixed drink cocktails might be best to recommend to them. For example, if they say they only want to serve vodka, tequila, and bourbon. We say, okay, on the vodka side, there's a lot of different drinks you can make. Tequila, there's some old standards that we have some really great people.
Margaritas.
Yes, and
you're going to make one today.
and,
Right.
yep, and palomas, things like that. And then with bourbon, you have those options.
Paloma,
too.
when did that come about? I've seen that more. I went to a big deal with Axios, the big news magazine, and they invited me, little OC Talk Radio. I guess they were looking for a diverse audience. It was up in Hollywood. It was in Beverly Hills, actually at a private house. And they had Jeffrey Katzenberg, the founder of DreamWorks, there talking to a select group of audience. They wanted some media to cover it. I was invited. Kept saying, did they know who I am and why am I here? And they offered Palomas. They had 2 or 3 drinks. And and I was like, all of a sudden I'm seeing Palomas. Well, when I ran a bar 20 years ago, nobody ordered a Paloma. I didn't even know what a Paloma was. What is a Paloma?
Paloma is a tequila-based drink. It's there's a couple different ways to make it, but essentially the important ingredients are high-grade tequila. And normally we add a little bit of agave nectar to it. I'm giving away some of the secrets here for you guys at home.
Well, that's one drink only. Yeah.
A little bit of agave nectar there to balance the flavor profile. Then it's got to have some sort of grapefruit flavor to it.
That's what I know.
Whether it's grapefruit flavored soda or Perrier with muddled grapefruit in it, or some of the younger people they just want squirt soda because that's a grapefruit flavor. It's grapefruit and lime and soda in one. So there's a couple different ways to make it.
Okay. All right, so there's a drink that seems to be hot right now and doing more. Give me some other drinks that are hot right now. The so-called brown goods, as we used to call them in the business, the brown liqueurs or liquor, Scotch, bourbon, and tequila. Those seem to be the hot categories. All those brown goods. And vodka is always big because you can mix it with everything. I never see gins come up a little bit, kind of out of nowhere. When I had a bar, nobody would order anything with gin. And then the one that still nobody does is rum. I never see rum anywhere.
Oh, things have changed somewhat. I mean,
Okay.
You're looking at gin. You see a lot of like there's a drink called a Negroni,
Yes.
which is an old school drink that has come back. That sophisticated people like them. A little bit on the bitter side, but it's part of it's the symbolic nature of drinking something sophisticated.
Yes, I feel like gin kind of made a comeback along with like the other speakeasy type drinks.
Yes.
Everyone's just like trying
Speakeasy's back again,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Because at one time, gin was the biggest. You were as a gin joint. You walked into my gin joint in the 40s. Gin was the most popular thing to drink, and then that went away somewhere because gin became kind of cheap stuff. Scotch was, my dad thought Scotch was more expensive or cooler in the 50s or 60s, and then vodka, the martinis and everything was huge. Okay, I'm just trying to walk through this. So we're seeing a little different flavor profile, certainly a wider flavor profile, but you work with the client to decide how much booze do you want us to serve, how much do you want us to, from open bar to a few select cocktails. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes, and the key between the niche that we've done well at, again, is again, we're a corporation, but we give a mom and pop feel. What I mean by that is we're fully licensed, fully insured. We can go anywhere You know, we do
Because you bring the liquor license with you. Yeah.
Yes, so we Playboy Mansion, rooftops.
Playboy Mansion. You've been to the Playboy Mansion?
Many times.
Wow. All right. Well, now you got to come back and tell me those
God.
stories. All right.
Be my big mouth.
All right. So I know a little bit about your business, only in that there's two ways. I can just hire a bartender and I buy the booze.
Yes.
And he or she just stands there and does this. Is it still mostly I still think of a bartender as guys, but more and more. What do you
I
think?
think they're more girls.
We
But-
couldn't get girls in
yeah.
the 80s and 90s to be bartenders.
But actually, back to like what you just said, I think that's a really like common misconception because there's so much planning that goes into it. So it's not just someone like showing up. I mean, that is part of it, but the planning that goes into it to make sure the party is set up for success
Right.
is honestly like
You got the right
it's half
cocktails
the
and people
effort.
taste
Yeah, 'cause
good
if
and
you
they
run
like
out of
them.
everything or you're not you know if I show up and there's like none of the stuff that needs to be there, like that's a problem. So
So it can't just be, I'm not trying to be offensive or weird,
Yeah.
but you're a cute girl, okay? So it's not
Damn
just
right.
hiring a cute girl. Damn right. So it's not just hiring a cute girl. Oh, here,
I mean,
take
it
this
helps.
guy.
It helps.
Right. But it's more than that.
A lot
You got to
more,
know how to
yes.
make stuff and mix stuff and everything. Yeah.
Yes, preparation, adaptability, flexibility.
Okay.
You're just like on the
My
fly.
wife's going to kill me that I said that. All right, okay, but yeah, I'm sure appearance is part of it. I'm sure the guys are cute and they're not fat bartenders and ugly bartenders and stuff here. Maybe they are. I don't know, Robert. Do you hire anybody? Or do you have to be an entertainer? You have to have a certain persona to you here.
Okay, I'll answer that question in like a real quick thumbnail sketch sort of answer.
Both of you are. I mean, you're not ugly people. You're not. Okay, I don't know how to say this politely in today's world, but it's not saying that ugly people can't be bartenders, but I tend to think of them as being more personable and actors. And
When you get on the female side, especially, in order to work for our company, you got to have it all. I mean, because of the clientele that we serve and the niches that I mean, you got to be able to do everything. The last thing you want is somebody who's they're going to show up, they're going to make some drinks, they're going to leave, and that's all they're going to do. They don't stand a chance against our company when we place the bid, regardless of how inexpensive they are or
and
not.
why is
Agreed.
that? What would you say? Because of what? You're going to give more of an experience. You're going to clean up. You're going to do what is it that you guys are going to do? You're putting on more of a show.
I would argue it's the focal point of the party.
Really?
So you want people to have
Really?
fun
Wow.
with the people standing at the bar. Because if you wanted just some bartender, you would go to a restaurant and get that.
Most corporate events I go to, most private parties, it's the opposite. The bartender is over there, male or female, and it's just it's a service bar. It's like a walk-up service bar. You get what you want, and that's it. And they smile, but there isn't a lot of personality or show that goes into it, or even creativity that goes into it.
Not our party.
Not at our, not by any means of what we're doing today. And the bottom line is we do our best. And again, there's certain things that our company's very strong at, and there's other areas where we're working to improve as well. But one thing we do really well is we set the standard very high, so that our brand name and is recognized as. You're going to get whatever it is you want. If you want something very casual, you got that. You want something very formal, you got that. You want something super high end, we can do that. Something, child friendly parties,
Yeah,
we
with
can
kids
do
around
those.
them, right? Family
We
friendly.
can do it all.
And
Because
it's-
I don't think, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't think of, I'm trying to think of any friends I know or any corporations, and lots of corporations come in here. I don't know that they have a bartending company. They just get some bartenders. Does that make sense? I mean,
Well,
I don't.
we're about to change that.
Right, right. And like as the host who's planning the party, the person who's hiring SoCal Bartender, there's such a huge load taken off their plate because of like the brain power that goes into like our services, like end of the exchange, like the transaction before the party even starts. And I don't know, as
Working with them to design the thing, delivering an experience in
Yeah.
a show,
Yeah.
and then cleaning up and being professional and all this stuff. Okay, I
yeah,
don't
the
usually see that.
The mental
Usually,
load is like totally taken care of.
wow. Okay, that's a different
And as a
experience.
wife,
than I see.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
people, especially women, but I mean men too, want convenience and not having to put all that brain power in.
Well,
When you're
everybody-
already planning so many other elements
Everybody
of the party.
wants elements in their party, whether it's a big corporate event or a private, personal party, that's memorable.
Of
That I
course.
walk away and say, "Wow, there was a drink I never had. There's something. They're really nice." Or there's, I don't know, something about it should stand out. Too often, it's just like a catering company. They're quietly just pushing the food onto the
Yes,
plate,
yes.
and there isn't. I don't know who they are or what they do, and that was okay. It was part of what I needed. The people who bring the balloons. I guess there are companies that do spectacular balloons, but most of them just bring balloons and put them around, and that's it. And
like
they're all the same to me. Yeah.
Anonymous, yeah.
Anonymous, yeah, right. Okay, not you guys. All right, so why just SoCal Bartender? I want to say bartenders because you're lots of them. Why make it singular instead of plural? Robert.
That was the URL, internet name that was available. One of the S was already gone, so we had to take that.
Okay. And so if they look it up, we'll give it a couple times. SoCal, SoCal, bartender, single.com.
That's correct. You can find us on our website. We're very active on Instagram, active on Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel as well.
Okay. And you go anywhere in SoCal from where to where? Ventura to San Diego? Or?
Yes, a quick thumbnail sketch about that. We cover 5 different counties, but the majority of the work is in Orange County, Los Angeles County. We cover all of Orange County. We cover about 95% of Los Angeles County. There's certain areas up there past Castaic and stuff like that we don't ordinarily go. We also cover, and that right there is 90% of our business just between those 2 counties. The other 10% is split between Riverside County, San Bernardino County, North San Diego County, and a portion of Ventura County.
Wow.
But the majority of it
So
is
you have a whole
County.
team of, these are what, like freelancers? Are they people work for you full time? Or?
Yes, they're independent contractors.
Right.
There's not very many full time. We have a lot of independent contractors. Some of them work only a couple times a year during the holidays. Some of them work every weekend.
And can I request different kinds? I want the old-fashioned, older bartenders, or I know I want a bunch of young, hip, cool people that are going to spin bottles behind their back or something here.
Yes. We've got it all.
From Tom Cruise to whatever, whoever the old bartenders were or something here.
Herman Munster.
Herman Munster. You're dating yourself. I remember Herman Munster. All right, so that would normally be the interview, folks, but we want to do 2 more things here. One, you got to tell me some stories. Now, you opened up the Playboy Mansion. Can you tell us any kind of story? I know you're not supposed to kiss and tell. You go to somebody's party, but anything that sticks out, any wild events or that you did, or give us a couple of stories here.
There's so many, honestly, Paul, and I'm not being facetious. There's so many that it's.
Give me a story recently that sticks out. Maybe it was a fun story. Maybe it was a different story.
Okay.
Maybe.
Here's what we'll do. I'll tell one, and then we'll let Janelle share one also.
Okay.
Can't mention any names though.
No.
Right.
Yeah, we're
Later, you're going to tell me the names, but go ahead. No.
With a place like the Playboy Mansion, part of the reason that you get in there is because of your high-end experience that you give, and they want a certain aesthetic,
Yes.
and because of your discretion. When I say
Discreet,
discretion, they know
absolutely.
that you're not gonna
Kiss and tell.
Be like filming them and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So you see a lot of things there. When you
I, by the way, as I was an entertainment publicist in my early life, as I told you, I worked with the police and Johnny Mathis, a whole bunch of others.
Oh, wow.
I've been to the Playboy Mansion, some of those parties. I didn't see the wild kind of parties with the cocaine and the nakedness everywhere, but I saw some pretty wild parties, the grotto and all that kind of stuff. I saw some of that because they threw. They probably still did through lots of charity events there all the time.
Yeah, since Mr. Hefner died, it's a lot different now. A company took over, and they still have events, but it's not the way that it was prior to his passing away.
Oh, it was
that was the majority of our activity when we did that a few years back. And never saw any cocaine, thank goodness. Honest answer.
Yeah.
Plenty of nudity though.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that's on such and such movie. He's thrown up in the bushes. What's he?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I was there in the 80s, so it was even wilder. It was even crazier. I think it's probably slowed down. All right, so Playboy, you've done some of those. Anything specific you want to tell, or we should switch to Janelle? We can just say Playboy and leave it at that.
Well, go ahead, Janelle. Let you take it away.
Recently, it's probably like, I don't know.
Or fun. It could be different.
Months ago. I was working a party, and it was this girl's 30th birthday.
Okay.
And all of her friends are like gorgeous, and
It's Orange County.
Yeah, no, I mean, like they look like movie stars. And honestly, maybe if I Googled, she actually looked like the daughter from Modern Family. It wasn't her, but that's
Yeah.
now you can picture how pretty she was.
Exactly.
Anyway,
the typical Newport Beach.
100%. Yeah,
right.
but anyway, so drinks get in them, the blue cheese martinis and stuff.
Blue cheese. I can't believe
And
people do
there was a flagpole, and like just out of nowhere, she like starts dancing like pole dancing on the flagpole.
On a flagpole.
And it was impressive. I'm like, okay, either you're like an actual stripper or
really
you have
good.
a great hobby. Yeah, you have that core strength. Like, oh my god, I was kidding. It was I was so impressed. It wasn't even like
Some
trashy.
people do it for high
so
art.
cool.
It is kind of high art when you can actually. It's like acrobatics.
Yeah,
and stuff,
exactly.
right?
No, there's classes you could take, but I was just like stunned. Like, how did you just pull that off? That was so like the coolest party trick I've ever seen.
That's how she paid her way through college.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Weddings, I'm stunned at. I mean, weddings today. What $250,000 or
God.
something.
Go
Big
to
money to
Cabo.
put in these things. And somebody, I won't say who, came in here, a big executive, was talking about his daughter's wedding. And she's some big high-powered executive and married a high-powered executive, and this is in Newport Beach. And they had a money machine. They're actually shooting dollars out of like a gun that shoots.
Real ones?
Real
Wow.
dollars, yeah. Like, and the dollar bills would just splay all of you like confetti. I thought, wow, that's taking it to another level here. And, you know, and all the bubbles and the weird things that people do in these parties now, like you'd see on these fantasy things. It's just, these are just normal giant parties that are being thrown in, I don't know, affluent communities here in Orange County here. Probably in LA too.
Oh yeah, I mean, not every party is that way by any stretch of the imagination, but we certainly do our share. And the closer you get to Hollywood, the more extravagant.
Extreme, yeah.
Hollywood and Orange County are, I mean, LA County and Orange County are very different.
Yes.
There are affluent areas in both, but how they party and the vibe and the setting is really, really different.
Well, because we catered these brands like the Real OC and the Real Housewives, and so now we have to be way out there. You know, it has to be very beautiful people doing just extravagant, you know, things here. Everything's to the extreme. Okay. All right. Well, wow, I'm going to tag along with you guys here. I'm living a quiet life in suburbia here. What do I know? I don't know any of this stuff anymore here. Make some stuff for us here. What do you brought 3 in particular, because I knew you could have 1,000 things there. You're going to tell us the 3 you're going to make and then show us.
Okay. Drink number 1, we are going to make our famous mango margarita.
Which we forgot one of the mix for today
Yeah.
or something, so it won't be quite as we're going to show you how it's made, but we're not going to really
No, we're going to
talk
teach you
about
how
it.
adaptable we are.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that. See? Oh, we forgot the mix. Okay, we can do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Because I'll tell you, the mix to me is everything in a margarita. If it's a cheap when I had a bar, you go to these distributors and they have 50 kinds of mixes, and then you can make them from scratch. Big difference. The generic ones versus a really, so you can do either. Because again, in your case, this isn't a dry service where they just hire for the bartenders. You can actually supply the liquor, and you can get really good liquor or really good mixes, or you can do generic stuff. I'm sure it's all price point, but you specialize in what, this thing? Why is this your specialty?
Yes, this particular drink, and again, for those who are in the viewing audience, if you'd like the exact recipe for anything that you see today, or anything you have a question about, please reach out to us.
Oh, there you go.
And
I thought this is a secret. You wouldn't tell anybody. All right, so mango margarita.
Yes, Janelle, if you could slice up a couple of the limes we brought with us. We normally use
And the camera, just so you know, is cut off a bottom of that mic there, so I can see just the top of that mixing cup there.
Okay.
So anything below that, I can't see.
Okay. Well,
So just hold it, for whatever you're gonna do. I can see like the full. What's the little bitter bottle? What is that called?
right here, Angostura bitters.
Yes.
Okay.
I can see that whole bottle to the bottom of it. So anything below there, I can't see.
Well, let's swap this then. I'm going to put the tequila we're using today as a what we call an everyday premium, and the everyday premium category, meaning it's a top shelf liquor, but it's at the level where we call it's still everyday consumable,
Okay.
which is Don Julio 1970.
Okay.
We use that as
I've
our
heard
tequila.
that brand a lot. Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to make it again. My fault, I didn't bring everything that's needed, so we're going to use the simple one today. We're going to make our own organic margarita mix using lime juice and agave nectar.
Wow.
But believe it or not, I'm not the best guy that we have. I'm good. Janelle's very good, but we have true mixologists who make that. And sometimes.
And if you asked her, I love it when I said, I mentioned something about her, she said, "Damn straight, yeah," or whatever. You better believe it.
You
Yeah.
called me cute.
I said cute or something. Yeah, God forbid. In today's world, I can't say those things.
No,
but,
no. It was. I'm flattered.
But
I loved it.
but it's.
Dude, you should
She
see
didn't. She didn't blush. She went damn straight. Yeah. So he says she's really good at this. I'm sure she's going to go damn straight. Yeah.
Damn straight.
Damn straight.
and really remarkable. So what we're going to do, ordinarily we're going to we have beverage ice. We have organic Persian limes. Those are any limes will do.
Ooh, Persian limes. What's so
Organic.
great about a Persian? My wife loves Persian
The
limes.
juice, the
Is it?
juice,
Yeah.
and it's the right. Again, flavor profile. The difference, yes, my dear. The difference is, for example, when you use key limes, and again, you get to Florida and places like that. It's
I
the
love key
regional
limes, yes,
differences,
yeah.
but the key lime's a little bit on the bitter side for
Tart, yeah.
some of the things, for what you want to do. But any limes will do. We have those. We have agave nectar somewhere in my bag here. I'm going to
Okay.
grab.
And just stick with us, folks, because normally the show's a half hour. We're going to go way over here. Whatever it takes to get this done here, because you had me at hello. You're going to make 3 drinks for an Irishman in a bar, in a bar. I got to see some of this stuff here. I will tell you right now, the smell in this room is incredible just from those limes, those fresh cut limes. I can smell them in this whole studio here.
Right on. And we've got organic agave syrup here. We're going to use that.
Okay.
Not a brand new bottle, but it is fresh. So that's where, if you ever need to make your own margarita mix at home, and again, you got to experiment with it a couple times to get the right percentages of each and the right viscosity. But it's the best way that on short notice is if you got organic agave nectar, that and limes, then you would use that's what we're going to use today.
And you say viscosity, that's a fancy word for how thick it is,
yes.
whether it's molasses or whether it's thin water here.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. So, okay, guys, we have Paul here. We have 2 other
yes.
in studio.
Bring down your mics here and just identify. So we brought some guests along. We normally don't have an audience usually in the studio, but today we have who? You're with us.
My name's Eric.
Oh, let's put the mic up here. We had you muted here. We were afraid you were going to say something. All right, go ahead.
What up, OC? My name's Eric Chan from Aleha Music.
Who is plays the ukulele like crazy here.
Wow.
And over there?
My name is Kenji from Kenji Sushi Private Chef.
Oh, private chefs. We got everybody in the room. So this is kind of some of your crew, friends and family that came along and support you here today.
Yes, Kenji, our good friend Kenji is the celebrity chef. He's kind of, he's the Wolfgang Puck.
Really?
So,
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
Yes, and we recommend you check
We'll
him
have
out.
you on another show here.
Yes,
yeah.
and
as well as your
Eric.
friend, I forgot his name already here,
Eric.
which is Eric Chan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eric's extraordinary. I haven't known Eric quite as long as I've known Kenji, but from what I've known him, the crowds he creates and the certain musicians create they have the ability to create a vibrational energy when they play.
They
That's the best way to
weave a
describe him.
story, yeah,
And that
exactly.
guy is remarkable.
With a ukulele, 4 strings. And
Thank
more.
you very much, Robert. I
I
appreciate it.
cannot wait to check that out.
All right.
So-
All right. So we're going to have today. We're going to take. I'm off camera here on the side in the by the court or the engineering equipment, and you don't want to see me anyway.
Okay, guys.
Good-looking bartenders here.
So what I'm going to do is and again, when we're doing a true mixology drink, we would take a few extra steps. But for now, we're going to make a good quality one that you can make at your own homes.
Okay.
And again, for the full recipe, please reach out to us and we'll provide that for you.
Okay.
We're going to take our.
They got a huge bucket. Is this any kind of special ice? Or you just went to the store and bought ice?
In this case, it's regular ice, but we have ice cubes, ice globes, things like that.
Yeah, what's the whole idea with making a globe? One giant ice cube. When did that become big, or a giant block of ice? That seems to be every cool craft cocktail today has.
Yes.
Or for upscale whiskey and Scotch drinkers, that's the way to go.
That's what I'm.
They don't want it to water it down.
Yes, right.
But you got to have your own molds for that. For that, fill it all the way up. And I know even some of our other bartenders that we compete with, they say, don't do it that way.
No.
Try it this way, folks, and we think you'll be happy. Fill your cup. We're just using a 12-ounce rocks glass here,
Right.
all the way with ice. Now we're going to take our Don Julio 1970. Would you open that up, please, honey? Cut that open and get that started. And while we're doing that, we're going to add just a little bit of agave nectar. Now this is very, very valuable. The Herradura is a pretty good brand, but any organic brand will do. And what that does, again, it bounces the flavor profile. You hear us say a lot about that today. Just a little bit in there, not much, because it's not a sweetener. You're not adding this to make the tequila more sweet. You're adding it to re-nourish the agave that was filtered out of it during the filtration process. So you use that.
Listen to this conversation to re-nourish the agave that was taken out of the filtration process. When is this? Just give me a Jack and Coke, give me a Scotch and water.
And this is a standard jigger here with
Right.
that's 3/4 of an ounce on that side and 2 ounces on that side.
Okay.
With that cup, I'm going to fill it about halfway, so it's not too strong. I'm going to make about 1.25 ounces.
Okay.
Just goes right in. There you go.
And is it a 3 when you're pouring? Is it a 3 count for 1 ounce? Like sort of 1, 2, 3. Well, I guess if you have one of those controlled spigots or something. what are
Yeah,
they
the
called?
spouts, yes.
Yeah.
And it's normally four. I don't even free pour myself much anymore. But is normally a 4 count or 3 count here? 4 count.
What's an ounce? I always thought a 3 count was an ounce.
An ounce is a 3 count, and then a 2 ounce is like
6.
Because if you're not
Exactly.
using a jigger, yeah.
Exactly.
And we used to actually make our bartenders kind of use jigger. They always wanted to do free pouring because then they were over pouring.
Yeah, nowadays a little more electronically controlled than that.
Right.
Standard lime squeezer here. And remember, another important thing is turn your lime inside out. Don't put it in like this if you're watching. No. Inside out like that. And then as you squeeze it, that's how, when it becomes inside out, that's how the juice is coming.
I would have done the opposite there. Okay.
So in it goes. We're going to make full squeeze there.
Did you need while we're doing this, did you need a real old can opener? I forgot to get one I have one.
I know,
no,
we've got one.
Okay.
And then again, ordinarily I would bring a high-end margarita mix, and I would fill it with 50% margarita mix, and then 25% organic mango juice, which we have here. Since we're doing it the other way with making our own, I'm going to kind of experiment here.
And how do you get a good mix? Is there a place?
Yes, there.
Let's
That's another.
get your friend to move his there a little far. He's sticking his iPhone in the thing
There are several good ones, and there are a few that are not so good.
A lot of
that are,
not
that are,
so good
Yeah,
ones.
that are just chemicals and water, and you don't want to feed your guests and your family
Yeah,
that.
if it's neon, don't buy it.
Or if it's too dark gray, don't, because that means that it's close to its expiration date.
Mm.
If it's really dark in color, that means it's been on the shelf a long time. Don't get that bottle.
Don't buy it. Okay.
Okay. So in this case, we're going to fill it up about that much there with the organic mango juice.
And why the ice all the way to the top? What was the magic about that?
You'll see.
Ah.
The whole thing goes in just like that. And then there's a couple different levels of shakes. There's what we call a dry shake, which is only like 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a blended shake, which is about 4 to 6 seconds. And there's a martini shake, which
I
is
feel like we should
which
have
is a
some
long
music
time.
playing, like the movie Cocktail or something.
So we're gonna do the middle one. We're gonna do just a blended shake. In this case, only about 4 seconds is needed. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, too noisy. 4, and into
What was the Beach Boys song from that movie?
Kokomo.
Kokomo, the worst song they ever recorded, their most popular song ever here. The dopiest song that everybody can't get out of their head here.
And if I measured it correctly, it should be pretty close to the top here. And
Look at that. I could never do that trick. There's
Bravo,
always too little or
bravo.
too much left over here. And what was it, the ice? Just tell me the power of the ice again here. I missed that trick.
Because when you shake it, it becomes blended. The first drink is as good as the last. A lot of even restaurants, they leave that step out. And when they do it, and when someone's had one of our margaritas and had one of theirs, they see the difference right away.
Okay, I'm going to have Janelle
No.
pass it behind her here. Oh, you're going to garnish it first?
Yes, we're going to garnish it with
I'll
lime.
taste it.
And we're going to
I'm
add
behind
some,
Janelle here in the engineering part here.
and I just had the bitter, not the bitters,
The
but
Angostura?
tahini pepper. Did I have that up there? Okay.
When did that become a deal, too? That is part of margaritas. I don't remember tahini ever being part of our flavor profile in the 80s or 90s.
I feel like it is relatively new, and
It is.
it really makes the margarita pop.
Yeah, it's in the last. I'd say the last 6 or 7 years. So in this case, you can make a tahini rim, but for this case, let me move that out of the way. We're gonna put that right over there. We're gonna add some directly on the top, and here's one of the real key things, ladies and gentlemen. You take your garnish, and you add it on one side only. This is restaurant quality here. Just on one side only, directly onto the fruit. So that zinger when you have it, there you go. Looks like that, and then that goes on there.
He taught me that.
So hold on. I can't quite see the drink when you hold it. Everything, again, it's all that on the black thing. I can see everything.
There,
we go.
let's put it there. And that, and cocktail straw,
Okay.
and pass that over to Paul.
Pass
See-
it to the back. I'm behind her here. You see a hand come in and grab this. Okay. Now, this is everything except the mix.
Yes,
Okay.
so it's going to be a little more
Drum,
mango-y.
drum roll. Oh, wow. I'll tell you what surprises me is there's a lot of flavor to it, multiple flavors, and that's without a mix to it.
Yes, sir.
Handmade.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna sip at this thing here. You want to taste this?
I'll make one for you guys
Okay.
while we're talking.
All right.
And speed it up here, and you can continue to ask
When
questions.
did
if you
mango
like.
become big? I've never been a big mango fan, but my daughter, who's now 30, she loves mango.
A lot of the influence again is we're getting in more of a with the internet and everything, more of an international world, and that was more of a Hawaiian and Caribbean thing, particularly Hawaiian.
Yeah.
And then once mainstream California's got it, once it gets to California, it goes all over the
Or
world. quick.
the western part of, or eastern part of Mexico, or Veracruz and all that kind of stuff. And I think because they grow mangoes, I think in that area. All right. Mango margarita, classic, done in a, this is, you know what surprised me too? The tahini, you put so much on, both in the cocktail on the fruit. I thought it'd be overwhelming, but it's not. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's a difference between, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Paul, between something being a spicy margarita versus a tangy margarita.
Right.
A lot of times when our consumers say they want a spicy margarita, what they really want is a tangy margarita, because a spicy margarita involves also including jalapeno peppers.
Yes, right.
But that's you better be
Heat.
careful what you ask
That's
for.
that's a real,
And
that's
then
real spice.
and then all I can taste is that. So I quite often say, don't put that in there, because then I'm just drinking a glass full of
yeah, spicy.
spice,
And
chili powder.
and especially if you leave the seeds in, it becomes so powerful that
seeds, yeah.
it's just too much.
What are we doing now here?
Or just making one more for these
Okay,
guys,
all
and
right, for the
then
guy.
we'll move to the
Can I
next
have
one.
it a virgin for me? Yeah.
Yes. And then so we can while we're
Thank you.
asking questions. I'm sure you have a
What
few
did he
more
ask for?
questions.
Did he ask for some rude drink? Or we're trying to stay for all the sex
No,
name
no,
drinks?
he
there?
didn't want alcohol for this one.
Oh, okay. I thought I'm hearing things. I thought he was. I'm so afraid not to say all these sex-based drinks or something. When did that be? That was the 80s, and everybody was supposed to order it, and you're embarrassed when you say it out loud.
It's your show, my friend.
All right, sorry.
I'm like no, like working in the bar, you
You
just get
immune
like,
to that. Yeah,
filter-
okay.
Yeah, there's
all
a
right.
hard filter. I'm just like I don't even hear it anymore.
All right, we won't go there. All right, but yes.
And I'm sure Janelle, share if you can another story about some of the things you've seen or some of the challenges that when you get there, we've part of the reason people hire us is because we are problem solvers.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
And
Adaptable.
we've got to get there and solve a problem so that we make the guest shine no matter what. If
Right.
there's something wrong, we've got to fix it, and nobody knows why. Nobody knows it happened.
Right, it's like very like behind the scenes.
So give us a crisis like that. Not, we all want to hear the happy, crazy party story. Tell me of one that it could have crashed and burned if you hadn't adapted here.
I can't. There's been so many, and
There've been so many
well,
of those.
no.
right?
I don't mean like that. Like, that's actually why that preparation part that I was like harping on earlier is so important because
So
like
you do show up prepared, yeah.
yeah,
right.
the goal is to like set them up for success, so we bypass this completely. But there are times where like someone else is in charge of buying it, and like
Yeah.
like the host assigns someone else, and then someone else like is like, oh well, we don't need this or that, and there's been a couple times where it's like no cups or like no ice.
Do they ever come in and really want something exotic? You're saying Don Julio, so you want some really rare tequila, or you want some really 50-year-old scotch or something here. Do they ever come in and want something really exotic like that? And I sometimes wonder why, because when you put it in a cocktail, a lot of that's going to get lost.
Not really. I think the parties I've worked, everyone kind of understands like, you know, the host provided it. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like rude as a guest to be like, what do you mean you don't have like
I don't want
$100-year-old
$1,500
yeah,
Cavassier.
like Macallan.
Yeah, right.
like,
Exactly, right, Macallan.
You know, it's kind of like understood that like you're like the host
You're a
bought
guest.
that. Yeah, and you're the guest. So that's, but maybe, I mean, I could really
Where's the Johnny Walker Blue? Come
yeah,
on.
exactly. Yeah, cheapskates, you know. No, 100%. I would say ice is the thing that's overlooked a lot.
This one's for you, Eric.
This is for you, Eric.
Thank you very much.
Little booze, but...
Awesome.
And I'm going to get Eric to react. Tell me, I have to taste it and tell me the truth. You can say I don't like it, or it's okay. Everybody's got different tastes. Or you can say, wow, that's the greatest one I've ever had in my life. Probably not, because it doesn't have the mix in it, but... Eric?
It's very smooth.
It is
Sweet,
smooth.
but smooth.
That's the
Yeah.
agave. Yeah,
That's good.
I didn't think it's
full profile.
overbalanced, too. Too many of these things, there's a one-note cocktail. One note stands out to the exclusion of everything else. Food, too. When we have your friend, the chef, on sometimes, too many times these fancy dishes, there's only one thing you taste. 50 ingredients, but this one overpowers everything. People that put bacon on everything. The bacon dominates that flavor, everything you have.
The tahine's a nice touch, too. You can taste it, like, at the very end.
What about these smoke cocktails? There's one over here. I think they do it at Eddie V's around the corner here. A couple others where they do these, somehow they bring it to you on a wood platter or something, and they flip it over or something, and
Yep.
it's actually got wood smoke in it or something.
Yes, we've got a couple of smokers. That's been used primarily for your scotches and your high-end scotch and high-end bourbon.
Bourbons, yeah.
Yes, and you can do it for high-end tequilas too, but it's mainly the scotch and the bourbon. And it's not everybody likes them, but it is an experience that you should try, and everybody should
I
experience.
found
and try
I do like that smoky flavor, but then I like Lagavulin. There's another oddball scotch that's very heavily peat, almost like barbecue kind of flavor to it. I like that kind of heavy peat, smoky flavor. Most people gag and say,
Ooh.
yuck. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
not my favorite.
No.
but I think
My
it's
son-in-law just gags every time I bring that out. But
it's a refined palate. Like, I don't know. I think it's impressive.
see, there you go. You can
Yeah.
come back again. It's a refined palate, everybody.
Yeah, like, I'm a gentleman.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's make it up. We're running time quick here. We're
Okay.
out of time. What can we crank out another 5-10 minutes?
We'll make one more drink here, and that one will be a Wisconsin-style old-fashioned.
And I'm hoping you're going to say that because old-fashioned is my go-to drink these days. It is a little. Is it a little sweeter version? Which one has more sugar, the old-fashioned or the Manhattan? I forget which is which.
Old-fashioned does, but it depends on how you make it. We're going to make it Wisconsin-style today.
All right, and what makes Wisconsin-style old-fashioned? Because I lived in Wisconsin. I don't remember there being a style of old-fashioned, but then I was only 8 at the time. So.
Okay, well, a little too young to drink at the time. Okay, Wisconsin-style old-fashioned. Again, we the way we do it here, we go through each of the steps with the bitters, with the sugar, etc. But in addition to that, we add a cherry, and for Wisconsin style, there's also a small floater of cognac over the top.
Ooh, cool. What are you looking for?
Oh, a trash can, but I can throw
He's
it away
got
after.
one right
Okay.
next to you over there, or behind you. Robert's got one right behind you there. If he turns to the right,
Here, I'll take it.
This is the trash.
if he looks to the right and below, there's a big.
Perfect.
trash
Sorry, I
can
didn't mean to
behind
interrupt.
I got a quick question.
you. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so when you guys, what's the right way to drink with the cocktail straw or just drink straight from the glass? Because
That's
then,
an interesting question.
the tahini on this mango margarita, right? Like if you're drinking straight from the glass, you're going to taste it. But then if you're drinking from a straw, you're not going to taste it because it doesn't float in the bottom.
That's an interesting because before you answer, I tend to start on the straw and then I feel stupid because I can't get much out of it, and I switch to the just drinking out of the glass. But everybody looks at me horrid, like you monster.
I think
you
it depends
drunk.
on if you're wearing lipstick or not, because girls don't want straws. But I think you make a valid point. You probably do get more of the flavor and like the different things in there.
That's
with,
true. I think you
drinking
get
from the glass.
I
yeah.
do too. I'm gonna take the straw based on that. Okay.
Okay, now we're
Wisconsin style old fashioned, ladies and gentlemen. When did old fashions come back? That was my parents' era. My parents were born in the 20s. Went through World War II. Growth of the 60s. When they were young and homeowners and suburbanites and having parties all the time and rising corporate executives. And that was a drink everybody loved. Manhattans or old fashions.
You want me to open this?
that's open. Leave it.
And
I just want to
honestly, when I had a bar in the 90s, I don't think anybody ever ordered any of those drinks. So they came back somewhere.
Yes, the people with the sophisticated palate. Again, a lot of the trends started in Los Angeles and in New York. Wanted something sophisticated, and a younger crowd started tasting those in the early 2000s, and with some new variations to them, they did well.
And these are all bourbon-based drinks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Or bourbon. You can use a whiskey or a bourbon, not a Scotch, but a whiskey
No.
or a bourbon. But bourbon is smoother and better.
And
more
bourbon has
aged.
corn in it, so it makes a little sweeter flavor to it.
Yes,
they say.
or it can be rye also, but that's a little bit bitter on the side. But yes.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do this.
Shout out to you, Rod Gantos, who's one of our show. He's a big rye drinker. Always has to have rye in everything he does.
Okay, an old fashioned can be a fairly strong drink. We're not going to make it super strong today. We're gonna pour in 3 full shots. And,
And what bourbon are you using?
We're using Bullet.
Everybody loves that one. That's and the other one is Bourbon Trace. I hear Bourbon Trace all the time.
And there's another one called Maker's Mark.
Yes, well, that was been around for a while. That's hardcore follower for that.
Yeah, Maker's Mark is more on the smooth side. Bullet is more of a hickory.
How about
flavor
Bourbon
profile.
Trace? That one seems to be a popular.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo
Yes,
Trace. I mean,
yes.
what did I say? Buffalo Trace. Yeah. See, he knew.
What's your guys' opinion on Basil Hayden's?
There's another one.
That's a
Basil
good
Hayden.
one. I like that one.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'll put it this way: it's excellent for the price point. But if someone wants to pay more, there are some that are better than Basil Hayden. But for the price point, I think it's a very.
And
good.
if you really do pay higher end, will it just get lost? If you're not just drinking it neat, if you're not just sipping it as a straight cocktail, do you lose some of that flavor when you mix it together with ice and ingredients and stuff? And I sometimes wonder if it's worth it to go super high-end premium on a mixed cocktail.
I think old fashioned, it would be worth it. If you're just gonna make like a whiskey Coke, then like absolutely not.
Jack and Coke.
Yeah,
that's what I
no,
drank.
no. But an old fashioned, gotcha. An old fashioned, I think definitely.
you get that sticker
That's
off too, honey.
Yeah.
What I don't like, which was real hot in my era, is Jack Daniels. To me, that's just been there, done that. It's not as exciting. It's more bland. But that, from my generation, everybody ordered a Jack and something. Frank Sinatra, supposedly, he's older than I was, but That was his drink, Jack. Everything was Jack Daniels.
Well, Jack has its place, but it's not the be all and end all as it was.
That was the only one you had to have, folks, in the bar, was Jack Daniels. And we try and have Jim Beam. They'd come in and other things. That used to be a big one. That's sort of gone away.
Yeah, you don't see too much Jim Beam. That's like Cuddy Sark. You don't even.
Cuddy Sark.
It's hard to even find Cuddy Sark
Dad
today.
loved Cuddy Sark. Yeah, isn't that Canadian whiskey? Cuddy Sark. I think it is.
I think so too.
Yeah. So anyhow,
never liked
folks,
any Canadian whiskey.
what went into this drink into our mixing tin so far? We poured in a good amount of good reliable bourbon, and then for sweetener you can use either sugar cubes, Demerara sugar cubes if you're using sugar cubes, but we used simple syrup here. The portion of that, it's normally about a 4 to 1, four times this as it is this, and that's what's in there now. Now for Wisconsin style, we're going to add, and we're actually going to muddle. Oops.
On Wisconsin. No, I don't remember. Wasn't that the theme song for University of Wisconsin?
I think so. We're gonna add two of these in
I don't
there.
remember the theme song for Marquette. I should. I have a Marquette sweatshirt somewhere at home.
And inside we go. You have your muddler here. And the reason you use a muddler, and again, some people only add the peel or something like that. For ours, we want you to have the full flavor of the fruits. So we're gonna muddle the drink in there.
I love the whole idea of muddling, like a mojito muddled and stuff. Don't just
Yes.
pop it in, but crush it gently, and some of that oil and flavor comes out.
Absolutely.
If you take the time.
When you talk about flavor profiles, and when we do mojitos, that's the one thing about doing mojitos for a large group is if you make them, because a mojito cannot be rushed. It cannot be rushed.
No.
There's two separate stages of muddling. One for the limes, and then a separate for the mint leaves.
Yes.
You can't do them together.
Especially the mint leaves. They just want to throw them in and say it's done. No. You guys know your stuff here. Oh, my goodness. What a party you'd be here.
We are mixologists.
Mixologists.
And last but not least, your Angostura bitters. You can't forget those. And we use the Angostura bitters come in different flavors, like orange flavored, cherry flavored. The regular, just plain Angostura bitters are the best.
And I don't even know what's in it. It's some oddball collection of herbs and spices that I don't even think they announce what's in it.
Yeah, pretty close. It's strong, but it's mainly it's herbs and plant extracts and things like that.
I learned a fun fact about the label,
Okay.
actually. So I mean, I'm going to give you the Cliff Note version of it. So it has like a signature look. Like the label is larger than the bottle, and that was like basically a miscommunication of the two brothers who founded it.
Okay.
And then they went with it because they're like, well, this is like kind of us in a nutshell. And it's kind of cool.
I'll tell you a similar
it's their
kind of
trademark
story.
thing.
Somebody told us years ago when they came in, they were talking about marketing. Heinz ketchup. When I was a kid, there was only one ketchup. You didn't get Heinz. You got Heinz ketchup, right? And they served it in a narrow neck bottle. And they purposely did that so it came out slowly. And everybody thought, therefore, it's thick and better. It was no thicker, it was no better, but the narrow neck made it come out hard to come out, and the perception was this is the real deal.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's funny.
The bottle is everything.
I remember they used to have those commercials where like you have to tap.
Yeah,
Yes.
slowly.
or
It's all
something,
because of
yeah.
the shape of the bottle. It has nothing to do with the product. Maybe they'd argue, but no.
I mean,
So all this gimmickry that we're known for.
I mean, it's really the mentality, right? If you think it tastes better,
It does, yeah. If you think it. Do people just... I appreciate what you're doing. And we're way over. This is a double show you got here today.
Almost done, folks.
But I appreciate, because there's room for conversation. There's room for some stories. Do you share stories about the liquor and the stuff and where it came from? If you're telling me a story while you're doing this, I'm sold. If you're just cranking it out and say, next...
Yeah, that's one thing that our clients expect. They want to be entertained. They want to be informed if they're interested. They want to be educated, and they want to have an experience. We're there to solve problems, and we're there to provide an experience that they don't forget.
Right.
And again, anybody who just shows up and makes drinks and leaves, they will never stand a chance against our team. Now, next,
So my cousin Vinny can't do it because I make the best drinks or whatever.
we'd have to retrain him.
My old buddy John, yeah.
For our cognac, and we're going to add a cognac floater. This is Hennessy cognac.
Nice.
And to do it the correct way, if you want to add a correct floater, one more real quick tip here: use the back of a spoon. This is a smaller spoon. If you turn it over this way, see the way I've got it? Not this way to scoop.
Like a turtle shell.
Yes, the turtle shell, and you pour it over the back of it, and that allows a separate layer for the floater.
Because it doesn't just go in a step.
Yes.
It dissipates as it goes over. It spreads out.
Exactly. So we're going to make, of course,
guys know
small
what you're doing.
amount, not too strong. There you go. And
I thought this is just guys in watching. I thought this is just a couple of cute people making drinks.
last but not least, maraschino
You got a
cherries.
full tutorial.
All right, maraschino cherries. What a strange thing that is. These super red. Somebody told me it's how they make them. It's very unusual. They don't pop off the cherry tree like that, I don't think.
No, I believe it's like a brine that they
Yeah.
soak in. If you ever get the chance to try Luxardo cherries, those are really yummy too.
And they're so bright. Do they
Still
actually?
got the stem on it. There you
Oh,
go.
I got to do that. People always say, "Do you want a cherry on it?" Yes.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Or like in an old milkshake. You want a cherry on it? Absolutely. What's that?
Absolutely. And that, my friend, is our version of Wisconsin-style old-fashioned.
Wow. All right. I'm going to bring this over here. Look at that in a big, my shaky hands here. All right. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. I even taste a little of that cherry,
Yep.
which surprises me. This one is not as sweet as some others I've had. The cognac adds an odd, maybe not odd, different, unexpected flavor on top of it here. And it really mixes very well with the bourbon. I wouldn't think cognac, cognac's a wine type of thing. It's aged wine or something here. Wow, okay. I'm going to drink this one. You guys got to try this one over here too.
It adds to the complexity of it.
You want to drink out of my glass here?
Sure, I'll try.
Sure, he doesn't care. He's a hardcore alcoholic here.
Free drinks, folks. So
Anybody who plays a ukulele, folks, drinks a lot.
Oh, wow.
Different, isn't it?
It's
So,
good.
so many old fashions are just super
Thank you.
sweet and syrupy and sugary, and I guess I like super sweet and sugary and little frou-frou drinks and stuff here. But that I would never thought of putting cognac on it.
Yeah, you can taste it on the top. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, real nice. I can taste the orange in it. I could taste the cherry in it, which I don't usually pick up any of those hints. It's a well-balanced drink that's very appealing. Wow.
it's the complexity of drinks
The
like
complexity of it. There you go.
that make it memorable. So a lot of people, Janelle is one of our most popular mixologists because they remember how good her drinks are and they ask for her again.
Right.
Over, and they remember that Janelle. I remember that's her name. I want her. I want specifically
Yeah.
want her. So she's built her own cottage industry within our business because of how good
And
she is.
as well you should, because you want people who perform well and put on a show, whatever that show is, whether it was funny or serious or cute, whatever whatever the show is, I want something memorable about this. I don't want you to be just another anonymous server, I would think, if at a special event like this. Robert looks like he could talk up a good thing here too. It looks like he'd be an entertaining.
Oh, he's the best. He really does. He puts on, like, I make the drink. I mean, I make the drinks, and I'm good at talking, but it's a full presentation.
In the
It's
short time I've known Robert. He has the gift of gab for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hopefully that's a good thing. I hope.
It's a good thing. It's totally a good
I'm
thing.
Irish. We're in an Irish place here. That's a compliment usually, because I say we live in a world of stories. There are too few stories. We have businesses come in here all the time. They say, "Tell me a story." The story is, here was the problem. Here's the solution. Ta-da! Here's the product. Here's the feature. There is no story. Well, who made it? How did they make it? What was the struggle? There's no human involved in this. It's just all facts and figures. It's all numbers. And a story is not number. I think we are deprived. That's why I do podcasting. That's why I talk so much. I think we're deprived of stories. I
Right.
think we seek stories.
It's about
Stories
the-
are
about
what
the
unite
journey.
us. Yeah, stories and the journey. I think that's it.
It's the story that humanizes, as long as it's a real story. As long as,
Yeah,
as long as it's
right.
not, as long as it's not made up.
Obviously, yeah.
But if it's authentic and it's real, that's what humanizes the business.
I'm still drinking this old-fashioned. This is really good here. Well, thank you for coming and sharing the story. We went way over time here. I appreciate you hanging around because I wanted to tell your story, and then I wanted to tell this. It almost should have been a part two, the story of cocktails and making them, because I've been amazed. My parents are of the era, again, they were born in the 20s, came of age during the Great Depression, World War II, in the 50s, and all that. When all of this Hollywood mystique around alcohol and drinking, it was part of the experience. It was a story. It was an experience. It wasn't just about getting drunk. And then it turned into the 60s. A lot of that went away. 70s, we had our own kind of crazy, mostly sexual named drinks or something, or the oddball drinks, the Harvey Wallbanger you brought up, and all those kind of drinks you don't see anymore here. tequila sunrise, things visually interesting, things floating on top of each other. And then it seemed to go away, and it was just, let's just get drunk, or let's just do shots. And I appreciate that a story and a tale and an interesting presentation has returned, and you guys are great examples of that. And I would certainly encourage anybody, big or small, big corporate events, small private parties, check these guys out. If you want something more than just somebody bringing the booze and passing it around, if you want them to be the centerpiece of the experience, why not check out SoCal Bartender, just singular. SoCalBartender.com. Thank you so much for joining us,
Thank you for
Robert
having
and
us.
Thank you, sir.
Janelle. Wow. All right, stick around, folks. Here we got one last thing here. Let's just remind you that we're doing this at OC Talk Radio, part of our community conversation. If you want to hear more about us, check us out online. We're everywhere as we stream live from our studios here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center. From the Irishman in me to all of you out there, go take a sip of something there and share it.